Hey everybody, this is Johnny Vegas from BattleReports.com bringing you another wonderful Starcraft 2 commentary. Here we have a little bit of a learning game for those Zerg that are plagued by the Void Ray 3-gate push. Now this is a patch 13 game. The Zerg player is none other than SluggyTheZealot. However, he plays Zerg now in Starcraft 2. The Protoss is just your random Diamond League player, Yrael. Don't know anything about him. Although I do know he goes for a 3-gate Void Ray rush. So this game was brought to my attention. It was posted on the BattleReports.com StarCraft 2 replay section. Check it out. And Sluggy here posted it, and he was giving someone advice on how to stop the 3-gate Void Ray push. So here we go. I've actually started the game at like the 2-minute mark just to skip over the boring initial standard stuff, which what it was some people may find that exciting, I suppose. What it was a 10 overpool build by Sluggy. The 10 overpool is a pretty safe build in terms of defending against early cheese, early rushes, and so forth. It's a little bit less economic than some of the popular builds like the Idra build, where you would go for a hatch on 15, or the variant where you would go for perhaps a pool on 14 or 15 and then a hatch. Sluggy does get his fast expansion down, and he did get out some pretty quick Zerglings in preparation for any sort of cheese. Zealots are very strong against Zerglings, especially slow Zerglings. And you can see Sluggy made a mistake there by not... Well, he should have just simply fled because he did not have the numbers he needed. You need about 3 or 4 times the Zealot numbers to be victorious there with the Zerglings. However, he did get his Zerglings split up, and the Zealots did even better. So now Sluggy's at a little bit of a deficit here. He's kind of in trouble. The Zealots are going to take out all these Lings if not for the help of the Queen. Now Yrael was a bit slow in just going for the hatchery. He almost could have taken it down, but he kind of walked down south a little bit and he walked back, so he was delayed a little bit. So the Queen's able to get up there. Another Queen comes out of the hatchery, and this Queen, however, is not participating in the fight. Finally, she does. I'll slow this. Maybe for the next battle, I'll slow it down. But yeah, I mean, Zerglings do fine with Queen backup against Zealots. Zerglings on their own, they have to have numbers against the Zealots. The key advantage to the Queen there is that they have that range of 3 in for their ground attack, so they can attack over the Zerglings. Pretty decent combo there. Now we see I almost said Sluggy. Sluggy just trying to be annoying and get some scouting information here in Yrael's base. You can see he doesn't want to engage, even if he probably could take these Zealots out, but he would lose all his Zerglings in the process. Stargate going down, so Sluggy does see that, and if we look at the production queue, we should see him try to respond to that with some sort of anti-air. At this point in the game, when we don't have a lair for Zerg, the only option is more Queens. Spore crawlers are a pretty limited option. You just can't defend against Void Rays with spore crawlers. So we do see one more queen being produced. The Zealot's coming in. This is just a poor attack by the Protoss. He already knows he's got the 2 queens. He knows he's got at least 12 Zerglings, so running in with the Zealots isn't going to do much. He could have lost quite a few there if the Lings had surrounded. So that was pretty dangerous. I think the Protoss primarily was trying to get in there to scout for his Void Rays that were you know, wanting to find a nice safe angle of attack. Macro wise, you see at this point in the game, now these aren't pros, these are just diamond level players. You know, probably the top quarter of diamond. There's a lot of players in the top quarter of diamond, so some of them are good, and it's hard to really classify their skill level. APM wise, we see that Sluggy's at 120 and red Protoss is only at 42. So with a low APM like that, you can expect a player something to slip once he gets past about the 10-minute mark of most games. Either his micro will slip horribly, his macro will probably slip. In most cases, it is the macro. So you can get to the top quarter of diamond just with a few well-practiced builds. And you know, we can see the players at this point are both doing okay at spending their money. 500 gas for both of them is pretty extreme. So I would say that's some sort of macro error. Although, you know, in Sluggy's defense, he's just worried about this initial Void Ray attack, which has started. Starts taking out the spine crawlers. Now the queens have been distracted down here by this other attack, so that's a good example of a 2-pronged attack by Yrael here. Also, just having we saw a good transfuse go down there, another one. So that is critical. If you don't have Hydras, you don't have Mutas. Queens can be very efficient in defense if you use transfusion, and only against small numbers of Void Ray. Now this is just a death trap for the Zealots. These drones may as well attack. Yeah, okay. This attack right here, absolutely crushed by Sluggy, is probably going to lose the Protoss player of the game. The key reason with Void Ray, they are difficult to handle when they're in small numbers. However, once you get to like 6, 7, 10 Void Ray, they become extremely difficult to handle. Unless you just have large numbers of the hard counters available. I mean, even 20 Hydralisks will probably be taken down by well-controlled, 10 well-controlled Void Rays. Now, here we see again the Protoss going in with a tiny force. Just 2 Void Ray. I can see his strategy here probably is that he wants to take this top right base. So he just wants to harass the Zerg. And keep the Zerg busy, keep him in his base, get a little bit of map control. And he does wisely retreat there, so that's good. Let's look at the losses tab. Yeah, you can see red has lost, Yrael has lost 2,700. So a lot of that could be attributed to that recently failed attack with his initial Void Rays. So you just don't want to lose with those initial Void Rays. You want to flee. So because once you get that magic number of like 5 or 6, you're gonna do so much more damage when you just try to snipe an extractor, etc. But 2, I mean, you know, even 2, yeah, they're gonna take this down pretty quick, but not a gigantic threat. I mean, they're gonna take 10 seconds or so to take down a hatchery. Long enough usually to defend it. But if he could have gotten to like 5 Void Rays, that's the kind of numbers where you can really abuse the immobility of the queens. If you get 6 Void Rays, you could swoop in, kill a hatchery, and the queens will probably just be showing up, and you may lose 1 or 2 Void Rays, but you can usually press the attack and just finish off the hatch and then flee. This is interesting. Yeah, the queens are